To the
Turn
cloud.
the air conditioning off so it's quieter.
Good afternoon. We're here with Ty Supancic of the Law Collaborative. Welcome, Ty, again.
Thank you for having me, David.
Part two. So thank you for being here. I'm your Los Angeles divorce realtor, and we want to dig deeper into collaborative law option if you're thinking of going through a divorce. So in this video, I'd love to talk about more of the function of the team overall, their purpose, and then perhaps go a little deeper into what the main roles of each professional on the team fulfill. So some of the approaches as far as different from court divorce, the team seeks to understand what's important for the family and the client. Yes? Okay.
Yes.
The team offers targeted legal, mental health, and financial support.
Yes.
Okay. And then the team brainstorms, suspends judgment, and refrains from negativity. I like this. This article is really good. The focus is on problem solving and exploring options, allowing for creativity, which you mentioned in the last video, which I think that's wonderful. Ultimatums, roadblocks, barriers, and negative criticism are removed, which is like, what? Really? That is so cool. And then I have here, the common goal is to support the parties in reaching a settlement.
Yeah.
So what do you...
I want to say something about your first point. Read your first point again about the
team seeks to understand to understand what is important for each client and the family.
So that's a huge difference from litigation.
Mm-hmm.
In litigation, old-fashioned Perry Mason law, you have a duty to zealously advocate for your client. Their kids, you don't care about. Their parents, the grandparents, you don't care about. Your client is that person, and their interests is all you care about. And if their folks never get to see their grandkids again, too bad, not your job. If the kids grow up hating their parents, or if the kids grow up and have relationships just as contentious as their parents, not my problem. My duty to zealously advocate for this one person. The collaborative law model, by contrast, is a holistic approach. What's best for you is likely pretty good for your folks. What's best for you is likely going to be good for your kids too. And so by looking at what's best for the family, you take away all those positions and paths and choices that could be really destructive. And once again, it's super important when you have enmeshed families, even if there aren't kids. You know, if you've been married to someone for 15 years, 20 years, I see, people getting divorced after 50 years nowadays with this new silver divorce phenomenon. Your families and your friends are like this. If you wage war and you hire lawyers to destroy the other side, you're not going to have a good Thanksgiving ever again. You're not going to have, you're going to really change your life and your family and your friends. And collaborative law offers a path forward that's empowering, that's transformative, that allows couples to model the kinds of relationships they would aspire their children to have.
And if I may add to that, the alternative is you could be destroying your family also, possibly in going guns a-blazing with each attorney going to court. Yeah, for it's all a lot of money, and whereas you may feel right and justified and hurt and all of that to want to retaliate against the other side. But what can happen, it seems to me, is that, like you said, some of the mutual friends may not want to see you anymore, or could break up the family potentially. Whereas if you want to avoid that, then certainly collaborative is certainly a better thing to consider than going to court.
Absolutely.
Okay, great. I think that's so awesome and important to iterate. And the other thing I liked about this collaborative law is that it's interest-based negotiation versus positions. So it seems to me, and correct me if I'm wrong, that it's helpful to get the clients or the divorcees to see past, hopefully even for a moment, their hurts and resentments and whatnot of what led them to want to divorce, to what is best for the children and what's best for schools and support and all that sort of stuff. Yeah. Would you agree?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah. So, and I think that's where it seems to me where to have the best seasoned professionals in collaborative law, where their gifts and talents shine forward, is when they can help the divorcees, remind them gently that what's important and why they're here. At the end of the day, their interests, like you mentioned earlier, you need a house over your head, you need food in the refrigerator, your bills paid and clothes on your back, and the kids taken care of in school, and clothes on their backs.
Yeah. People
right?
usually agree on a lot more than they realize, because they're used to fighting and they're used to disagreeing. But if you sit down with a couple and you say, you want what's best for your kids, they both go, yeah. You want your kids to grow up to be happy and healthy. You want your kids to have lovely, lovely relationships in the future. You want to be able to see your grandkids. You want to share holidays with your grandkids.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
They agree on tons of stuff. So if you take up the position of, I want the house, I want you out, that's a non-starter. What's your interest? Well, my interest is that the kids be as disrupted as little as possible. Okay, that's an interest. What other interests? Well, we both, like you said, have a roof over our head. Okay, that's an interest. What other and by coming at interests and looking at those, much more powerful agreements can be reached, and they're much more durable as well than when they're imposed by a stranger in a robe. Most of the litigation in Los Angeles, in the Superior Court in Los Angeles, is people going back to court because they want to change what the judge gave them the first time.
Wow.
That's enormous.
That doesn't sound like fun.
No. And when you've crafted the agreement together and you had a say in it and you have ownership of the outcome, if you need to change it, you already have the tools and skills. You develop those tools and skills, and so you're less likely to go back and litigate again.
And it seems to me also too, because they've had more involvement in crafting the end result, that it's likely to they're likely to honor it permanently, if you will. Yeah. Not have second thoughts about, okay. All right, great. That's so helpful. Let's go into a little deeper the role of each of the professionals on the team, if you don't mind. So the collaborative divorce coach is typically, correct me if I'm wrong, a coach is a licensed mental health professional specializing training in collaborative divorce, interdisciplinary teams, and understanding-based negotiations. Coach adds expertise by way of insight, guidance, and tangible strategies to support the effectiveness of the collaborative process.
Yeah.
So the coach, helps clients develop and reinforce effective communication skills, helps clients increase awareness and perspective about the dynamics between the couple, including their trigger points, as well as managing ways of managing their conflict, and in order to anticipate and prepare emotionally for the collaborative meeting, which is very interesting. I've never heard of. That's a new one that I've heard of when you think about divorce. I'm surprised in a good way. Helps the team understand relevant aspects of the history and dynamics so as to work with a maximal attunement and success of the clients. And in families and children, the coach may develop parenting plans and co-parenting strategies to support the transition to two households.
And what wasn't there is that, you know, when you're dealing with a team of professionals, you think of any team you've been a part of, there's, you know, other people that can have issues. There's other friction that can come up. It's not just the couple getting divorced. One lawyer might rub the other lawyer the wrong way. One lawyer might know how to push the other lawyer's buttons. And the collaborative, the coach is there to manage all of the communication and all of the interaction and keep it all on the straight and narrow. A lot of old-fashioned litigation is just, you know, swordplay. I can't think of anything.
Hello? Ty? I think we got frozen here. We'll cut the video here and come back. Resume. Okay, great. So before we got disconnected, Ty, we were talking about the role of the collaborative divorce coach in detail. And what I was just mentioning to you was that it seems to me that the divorce coach is the compass and the calming force in maybe turbulent or tumultuous waters. Overall at the beginning, middle, and end. Would you agree?
Yeah, great analogy. They're like the navigator. They hold the map and the compass.
Yeah, and keeping the emotions intact, and you know, when people need to take a break and all that kind of stuff. So that's awesome. Okay, so let's go into the collaborative financial professional, or could also be the financial neutral. I'm not sure, do they say financial neutral in California?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Frequently, one party in the divorce is less informed when it comes to the family finances. That party may react in a number of ways, with terror, curiosity, feeling overwhelmed. When that is the case, bringing a financial neutral into the process can be beneficial in presenting the information in an understandable and non-biased format.
Yeah.
Which I think is, fantastic. For the first time in their financial lives, the parties may be able to look at their finances in a non-threatening environment. And as far as what they do more in detail, financial professional or financial neutral gathers the financial data, prepares client statements of net worth. So could it be also the marital balance sheet?
Yeah, income and expense declaration and schedule of assets and debts in California.
Okay. And then develops different financial scenarios for clients to evaluate, provides financial guidance, planning support, and budgeting, explains the tax consequences and alternate solutions, and assists in evaluating the assets that are part of the marital estate.
Yes.
Is there anything that you have to add or comment on any of that with regard to the financial neutral?
Well, just in how it would be contrasted to an old-fashioned litigated case.
Mm-hmm.
A CPA once told me that their mentor had told them that figures don't lie, but liars can figure.
Mm-hmm.
And when you have one financial preparing one party's financial disclosures and someone else preparing the other party's financial disclosures, they're unlikely to line up. They're going to each be asserting different theories and different accounting methods, and they're both going to be trying to get an upper hand for their client. And that gamesmanship ends up costing everyone a bunch of money, and it muddies the reality. What the financial neutral does is says, this is what you've got. Here it is. Here's one way we could game the IRS. Here's another way we could game the IRS. But it's still, this is what there is. And these are ways we could divide it. And if the parties have expressed an interest that they keep the house for the kids and the parties can't figure out how to do that, the financial neutral could say, well, here's one way you could keep the house. Here's another way you could keep a house. Here's a third way you could keep the house. And then maybe in looking at those, the parties come up with another way that they could keep the house. Or they come to the conclusion that, no, we can't keep the house. It actually doesn't make sense based on this, and this. And we don't have to go, is this person telling us the truth? Or are they messing with us because they're trying to get the upper hand for their client? No, they're your neutral. They owe both parties a fiduciary duty. They're being honest. They're being clear. If someone doesn't get something, the neutral goes, okay, I'm not doing my job. I want you to understand. And then they continue to explain it until everyone goes, oh, I get it. And it makes settling the financial issues really a non-event.
It sounds like
you're not playing any games.
Yeah, it sounds like it. Yeah, it sounds like it. Okay, well, we're at 15 minutes, so why don't we stop the recording here and do a third video on the last two items, if that's okay.
Excellent.
Okay, hold on. Stop.